KUTX at home, Taylor Wallace here, and this is my first and my last 4 at-home sessions interviewing someone from here in the States. We've done Ireland, Australia, London, and now we're finally back in the States. Joining us from Chicago, the new album Flower of Devotion is out now. 11 weeks spent on the New Artists and Albums Billboard chart, 7 million album streams to date. From Chicago's Dehd, I'm being joined by Emily Kempf. Emily, how are you?
Woo! I'm good. I didn't know it was at 7 million. That's a nice number.
That is a really, really awesome number. It's been out since July, is that right?
Yeah, July.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. Well deserved. It's clear to me why it's gotten so many streams, but congratulations, it's very impressive.
Thank you.
And jumping right in, on Flower Devotion, y'all postponed the album originally. It was supposed to come out in spring, COVID hit, and then summer happened. How was that for y'all? Like all the emotion and momentum that go up to a release date, how was that for y'all to separate that and move the date?
It was fine. We just kind of accepted it rather quickly. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's like shocked, I think, when we're like, yeah, it's been fine. But there's like a lot more, other things going on that are more important or just are more dramatic and more intense than a measly old band release. So we just kind of rolled with it, and it's turned out to be a great year for us musically, and the press has been super kind, and I just can't wait to get back playing shows.
Yeah, so your last album, Water, y'all were touring cross country, and I know that you love touring and love performing and love doing shows, but in the kind of like whole flip of not being able to do shows at all, y'all have kind of found the silver lining in that and realizing that y'all needed a lot of rest. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I haven't like stayed still and not been traveling or going somewhere or planning a trip, I think, since I was like 17. And so, and I'm like 36 now, so that just is like, this is like crazy for me to be home. I don't even know what month we're on, but I've learned that it's okay to be home this long, and I'm happy doing both things. I think that was good for me to learn. And also, yeah, touring can be really grueling, so it was a nice time to have a break from that. A lot of personal growth, introspection, more active community work, being around my shop. Like I own a tattoo shop, and usually I'm in and out, but I've been like steadily going in and like hanging out with my shop mates, and it's just been nice, like a really grounding time.
What's brought you the most joy in all of this introspection and growth?
I don't know. I think my relationship with myself has like super blossomed even more. Like I was already doing a lot of work on my relationship with myself, particularly before quarantine, but quarantine definitely escalated the alone vibes and the sit with all your parts, the dark and the light vibes. And yeah, I just feel like my own best friend today, and I think it makes me a better person, for like a better friend in my friendship circle, and a better bandmate, and I just got puppies, and now I'm a mom. I don't know. Yeah, I feel really happy inwardly.
That's really profound and really wonderful. Was that transition for you? Did it all of this has come with ups and downs for all of us, but did you find the transition to be more natural than you expected?
Yes, actually. But it's not like I've been floating on like a pink cloud of diamonds or something. Like
Sure.
there was some months of like a lot of crying, feeling very underwater, just looking in, and not everything I saw was pleasant. A lot of it was not pleasant, and just sort of facing those things. Specifically, I like right now I'm referencing like racism and inner work around that, and seeing like where my privilege lies, and also like where am I actively contributing to my community and who is in my community. basically.
I 100% commiserate with all of that and all of that growth. And going back to being a bandmate, I'm curious about y'all's songwriting process, because I've read a little bit about it, but I'd like to hear, and our listeners to hear it come from you.
Yeah, songwriting for us is kind of a joy. It just sort of pours out of us. It's always kind of been like that. I think we just are really good at allowing space for each other to write and to try stuff out. There's no like harsh criticism or shaming. Not that that's how people write. I don't know. I don't know if people write like that. We just allow each other a lot of space to experiment and be our true selves. Like each of us has a voice that is heard and allowed space. And I think that is how we write so well together. And we just happen to click. Obviously that's something that's a gift and you can't really force. I think we have that going on. And we have a lot of fun. We remember to have fun. Like the band was formed with the idea of just having fun was the only like rule, you know, in quotes,
Yeah.
was only to have fun. So we're very lighthearted. And we just started to take it more seriously, like as a business side of things, the band, but the fun side never dwindled. Like we still have a big focus on having fun, because there's no point. What's the point of doing something if you don't enjoy it? Or find some sort of fulfillment. I mean, you don't have to enjoy, but if you're not being fulfilled or finding fulfillment in your activity, then like why?
We're here at KUTX at Home Session with Emily Kempf of Chicago's Dehd, and talking about y'all getting to contribute so in your own ways and everything. Like the album itself is very cool. I mean, for the first song, Desire, starts with that really like jangly, like almost like cosmic cowboy sound. And like, where is this going? And then it just erupts into, I mean, Dehd. And then you get to like Nobody, which I think might be my favorite song. It's hard to pick one, and I think I need to listen to it another 100 times before I can pick. But like Nobody sounds like something that the Muffs could have written.
The what?
The Muffs.
I've never heard of the Muffs.
Oh, the song Kids in America.
Okay.
It's a big compliment.
I'm outing myself for being an idiot. I only know about like Grimes.
We can't know all the things. I still like am learning about new music every single day of my life, both past and present.
Like, have you ever heard of the Beatles? I'm like, no. Okay, carrying on. Thank you. Very kind. I like that song too.
Well, and one of my favorite things about y'all's sound, besides all of the different textures and the guitars and the drums and everything, your voice has no reservation. It's a very, even when you're just straight ahead singing, it's such a cool, interesting sound. But then you've got like yodels in it, and then just you just seem very uninhibited when you're singing. And I'm curious if that's always been natural for you, or if that's like evolved with you as a performer.
Yes, I love those words you use, unreserved and uninhibited. That's exactly what I'm very intuitive with my voice, and I don't control it. It like, I mean, I'm, whatever, controlling it to an extent. But yeah, I've been like that since day one. I came out like that. I think I started singing when I was like 23 or 24, and I've always had a really guttural, raw, loud. I liked that style because it was, I think it was a way for me to emit energy that I felt inside that I couldn't emit in a safe, healthy way outside of performing and kind of scream singing, throwing myself around on stage. And that's where it all started, essentially. And now I have way more like voices to choose from, like, because over the years I've fostered a collection. I really think about it like a closet filled with all these little like outfits or something, or like, I don't know, piles that I can choose from, and
That's come a really from cool metaphor.
They come.
I love that.
Like when I hear things, I duplicate them. Like any sound I hear, I will duplicate it, and sometimes I can reference like, oh, I know exactly where this voice in quotes is coming from. It came from when I listened to that singer, or from that like bird, or that weird You know, it's like anything. It's not just like other singers, but yeah, it's definitely my instrument of choice, my voice.
Is there a particular song on the album that you had the most fun playing around in your closet?
um, I don't know, like No Time is really hard. That's a tough one for me. I always write one song that stretches my limits. Or I write a lot of them that way. Like I like to go to the edge of my skill set so that I can go past it, but I do it very publicly. So everyone's watching me like get to the edge and like kind of make it, kind of not. And No Time was one where I was like trying to be like rocker guy, like I don't know, James Brown vibes, that kind of screaming thing he does, is very raspy,
Mm-hmm.
sort of maybe some like West Coast bands. Trying to think of like Ty Segall, maybe. I don't know. Is that the guy who does like weird? Yeah, like just like weird, like rocker bro, and I'm gonna be the rocker bro. I love confusing people like with my voice gender wise, because it's like I it doesn't matter who I am or what I am. The voice has its own life, and I love people being like, "Oh, I thought it was Jason." I'm like, "Nope."
I like that the gender neutrality of that too. Like you know, people like Erica Winterstrom or even Meryl Garbus of Tune Yards. You're like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
not that it matters, but you're like, okay, cool.
right.
Uh, Emily Kempf of Chicago's Dehd joining us, and so Jason is also a sound engineer, and he engineers. Does he engineer all of your albums or just this one?
Oh yeah, baby. Jason's
So
all in the mixing and the recording.
does that? Do you think that y'all like having someone who is so hands-on in all of that, or do you find that sometimes it allows you to not have enough separation from the music itself?
I think the way I view it is how I view songwriting with us. It's like Jason, that's Jason's thing, and he loves doing it, and so I just give him space to flourish in that area. You know, I don't think it. Yeah, I think it only enhances our sound and our personality as a band when we're all allowed to truly explore. Like he truly explores his abilities in mixing and recording, and I'm truly exploring like my abilities in video making and producing, because I do that stuff a lot in the band, and it's sort of like, yeah, it's just like allowing him to have that
That's really
time.
cool. I mean, if he wasn't doing that, he would be unfulfilled in the band almost, and that's
I mean,
it's
I
great
don't know. I don't
development.
know. Yeah, I've never really talked about, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. And I think he does a really good job. He's very talented with sound. He's been doing sound since he was a teenager. And yeah, I think we're very like, we're a tight knit group. So we let people in, but it's usually just us three.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I like y'all's approach that y'all record with the intent of being a little loose and not like we're going to be on GarageBand after this, lining up, you know, every quarter note to make sure that everything is in line. I really admire that.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
we love
lost art, I
Scrappy.
think.
Well, because Scrappy is how life is. Like nothing is. I don't know. I'm not into perfection, but I'm into aiming towards it, I think, is the vibe. Yeah.
Hmm. So Chicago's Dehd, Emily Kempf joining us for this KUTX at home session. And my last question, in an album where literally every song could be a single, how did y'all land on Loner?
Well, we only have singles that start with the letter L. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, next year I gotta write another L song. I'm just kidding. Loner just was an obvious. It was just obvious. Just like last year, Lucky was the obvious one. It's kind of like the one that everybody can get behind, like the parents, the teens, the old people, the elderly. I don't know. I just feel like we just knew, like, oh, this is it.
Babies and boomers all can get behind this one. And
There we
that's
go. Yeah, thank you. No
well,
ageism here.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I just think this album is a perfect album, not a skippable song on there at all, and they all have their own personality. Congratulations on being able to pull all that off in one album.
Thank you, Taylor. So nice. Thanks for having me.